Hello and welcome back to my YouTube video. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking time out to support me. Please like, subscribe, and do whatever you need to do to get this out there in the world, repost, whatever. So before I start this video, I'm gonna give a special shout out to a small brand called Something Cute. They make earrings. I'm wearing a pair of their earrings right now. I'm not sponsored, didn't pay for this. I'm just giving them a shout out. I bought a few of their earrings recently. I'm just really happy about it, and I want to put the word out about them. They're a really great company. I'm gonna put a link down below for you to check out their products. Maybe even put in an order. They're a small business owned by a woman, owned by a Black woman. Yeah, just support. I think it's important to support small businesses coming up, especially ones that do such a great job. I mean, these earrings are fantastic. I have another couple of pairs that I really love, so I'm excited. So yeah, go support them. Today's video is about the one, the only, Walter Mercado. I did the podcast on him. I actually took a little break. So I took a break. I was supposed to do this last week, but I needed a little break. So I took my break. I did the podcast on him, and it got really good feedback. I got really good feedback for it. I did the podcast during me watching the doc series on Netflix called Mucho Amor. I felt very inspired. I loved it. I felt super inspired by the doc series to do it. Like literally, I was watching it halfway through, and I was like, okay, it's time for me to record. So I paused it. I started recording the audio for my podcast, and then I continued watching it, and I watched, and then I recorded the rest of the audio. So it was really great. I really loved it. It does bring sort of a sense of nostalgia for people who grew up with Walter. Super sweaty. Hello. Because it's just like, he was like an uncle. He was like that uncle you knew of, that weird wizardry uncle. I got that from my sister. He was that weird wizardry uncle who come visit, and he was just like, give you like $20 for no reason. So you're like, I like this guy. He was a very interesting character, non-binary apparently. From a small town who had big dreams and just did what he did, and he was a genuine self. See, this is the thing, that if you take away anything, well, there's a couple of lessons you can learn from this doc series, but the number one is being yourself. Walter was an actor. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. He was an actor, and he went to promote a play that he was in, and the general manager or the producer, can't remember which one, asked him about astrology, because he was talking to everybody about astrology and talking about their signs, and kind of funny because I'm kind of like that too, so I appreciate that. And so yeah, he was like, hey, do you want to do, he just put him on, had him talking about astrology, and because he was so entertaining and so charismatic about it and just really loved the subject matter, he started a career in astrology. And I'm sure that, I mean, you wouldn't think like, hey, you like a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm an astrologer. I don't know too many kids who would say that, but hey, it's a new day. But it's definitely interesting, especially coming from Puerto Rico at that time, for someone to be like him, because of like so much machismo and so much like, you know, there's a lot of, you know, things that went on, and someone to be so gender non-binary and be so free and be so his own self, people were really mean to him, you know, because he didn't talk about his sexuality. And you know, there's all this machismo, and people were just like, they would say things about him and question his sexuality, and I'm like, he basically was like, none of your damn business. And I'm like, that's right, none of your goddamn business. Like, he was a character. I'm very obsessed with his capes. Yes. I think one day, if I have millions and millions of dollars in the bank, I want to purchase one of his capes and put it in one of those glass jars and have it in my large library in my large mansion. And all my award dresses as well. But I need a cape, because that is freaking amazing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you know, after this video, stop what you're doing and go look him up and his capes. That was incredible. All joking aside, the second kind of important tale, as an artist myself, this really hit home with me, was somewhere in the video, he signed over his likeness and his name to his manager or his agent. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was his agent. He signed it over to him. He signed a contract. He kind of had a lawyer kind of look at it. I don't know, like it was confusing, that part. And he just signed it, not really giving it a good look. Basically, he signed over his rights. You know, and there's a part of me that's like, why didn't you read that? Oh, you knucklehead. But then there's a part that's just like, sometimes you just want to like, oh, just sign this. Let me get to the next thing. And he was at a level where he was high. He wasn't like, a lot of us are, you know, a lot of us at the beginning will sign documents because we're like, how much money? I'll do that. Blah, blah, blah. You know, like you have no experience. You have no way of knowing if people are kind of stealing from you. And you're just kind of like, you're just excited that someone's interested in you as an artist. So I understand that. But at his age and at his sort of status, it was kind of crazy that he was so trusting, you know, because I mean, nothing had happened like that before. So why wouldn't he be trusting? So he signed over his likeness. He fought this person for years. He ended up winning, but it was like a long, drawn out case. And poor guy, I feel like it like knocked the wind out of his sails, and he ended up just kind of in a way like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Like he was on television, he had books, he had everything. He kind of became secluded and didn't really make as much appearances as he used to. And yeah, like it just seemed like some people even thought he was dead for a while. I mean, he is dead now, but people didn't know what happened to him because he just kind of like, after you go through that, I think it was like 6 years, like long drawn out process and so much money that you invest in it, because lawyers are not cheap. Like you put so much money into lawyers, and poor guy, like I'm like, I can't even imagine. I would probably want to be secluded too. So the docuseries picks up right before he passed away. Like they went to see him, which is like, you know, it was like good timing, you know. They went to see him when he was probably like a year ago, and they go to this home, and he's older, and he's just doing his thing, and he has a very simple life. But if you don't know him, he was a famous astrologer. He's non-binary. He's a magician, or you know, I think he's the reincarnate of Merlin the magician. He's one of a kind. He's one of a kind, and he's sort of brought a lot of joy to people. Like if you, as a kid, were introduced to Wagdel, you know perfectly well that if your grandmother or your mother or your aunt was watching it, you better not say a damn thing. You need to sit and wait to ask whatever, because you would get the chancleta. And all you needed to do is just wait for your sign and just know your sign, or run off and do whatever, or wait for a commercial break. But he was just such an icon, and it made me so emotional to see him, you know, like he's such an important part of the culture, and to see what happened to him is sad. And this docuseries kind of brought his legacy to the masses and kind of reignited his love. I got like 2 t-shirts of his. I recently saw that someone got a tattoo of him. I was like, okay, that's too much. I don't think I would get a tattoo. But I got a couple of t-shirts and tank tops, and I signed up for astrology class. I got a really cheap deal on one of these sites. I'm like, stay tuned. Maybe I'll do some charts for you if you're nice. Of course, not free. But I think that the 2 big takeaways, obviously, is, you know, being yourself, being kind to others, really made Wagdel's career. Number 2, read what you sign, because holy moly, it would have saved him millions. It would have saved him time. It's sad. It really is sad. And a lot of people feel bad for him. And I feel bad for him too, but I'm also like, it's a cautionary tale. It really is a cautionary tale to be just super, super vigilant. I'm pretty sure after that, he always had someone double check or maybe triple check all his docs. Because after that, you're like, after years and years of dealing with that. That's just crazy. It's just legal issues and artists are like such a it's so common ground. Like every time you see these talks about these artists, somebody steals some money from them, somebody had them sign something, and now they don't own the rights. For example, I don't know, this is random, but last night I was watching something on YouTube, and I watch a lot of Howard Stern videos that he has now on YouTube. And the guy, get this, the guy who invented Beavis and Butthead doesn't have any rights to them. Like he doesn't have, I'm misquoting there. He has like limited rights to them. So he created this empire, and it's probably making less than what he should be because he kind of signed off his rights. If I'm wrong, please let me know, comment below. But my understanding is he literally signed off his rights. It was just some dumb idea, and MTV took over, and he doesn't have a lot of rights to the image of Beavis and Butthead, even though it's his invention, which is kind of crazy. But just be careful as an artist. But I don't want to leave this on a negative note. I just want to tell you that if you haven't watched Mucho Mucho Amor on Netflix, the doc series on What the Mercado, go watch it. I mean, finish this first. Go watch it. Actually, goes into my podcast, and then go watch it. And I think you'd really enjoy it. I think that, his message was so inspiring. He was about The Secret before The Secret was even out there. He was about positivity. He was about using your words to make a better life for yourself. He was just great. His persona, even thinking about it makes me happy. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, pass it around, repost, do your thing, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.